Just waiting for good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Rabita with the Sheikh continues. Rabita is a process. Once it begins between a murid and a sheikh, it continues until the process of transformation is completed, unless you disrupt it in the midway somewhere. In the process of Rabita, the communion with the Sheikh to attain fruition. What is fruition? Process begins just as you take a seed, you prepare the soil, seed is planted, it is given proper sunlight, moonlight, air, water, and with that seed continues to grow. First, under the earth, it breaks its outer shell, sprouts comes, they burst open the surface of the earth and begin to wave with the wind. And this process continues from seed to seed. You have planted a seed, it will go through the process, and ultimately when the fruit comes in, you enjoy the fruit. Fruit becomes seed. You replant the seed instead of consuming the fruit and destroying the seed. You plant back the seed. The process continues. In this process, what is the role of the master or the sheikh? Sheikh is your passive way to transformation. Sheikh or the awakened one or the master is the passive way to transformation. What does sun do in the growth of a plant? It's a passive. It acts as a catalyst. Just as in the alchemical reaction of two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen, when interact with one another, in the presence of manganese dioxide, water is formed. And manganese dioxide does nothing. Simply in its presence something happens. This is known as a catalytic effect. So too Master remains a catalyst. Sun is a catalyst. Sun is not a stove that you put your fruits on or the plant on and it gets cooked. You add many things, you add nothing except you continue to water the plant, provide it proper air, and the presence of the sun so far away does something. It helps the fruit to attain the maturity. The moment the maturity comes, the presence of the moonlight helps you to bring the other pole, and the sweetness comes in. The ripeness and the sweetness both are necessary. One comes from the sun energy, the other comes from the moon energy. You are the resultant of the sun and the moon energy. In the same way, master or the sheikh is the passive way to transformation. He virtually does nothing. So when you think that you have to be sitting down next to the sheikh or in front of him in order for transformation, this is erroneous. You don't need to be. There is a particular story in Islamic tradition how Hazrat Owaisi got his. It says in the battle of Karbala, the teeth of Hazrat Payghambar sallallahu alaihi wasallam broke. He is sitting far away. Through his kashf, he realized that the teeth of Hazrat Payghambar sallallahu alaihi wasallam broke. He broke his teeth. Then a thought came to his mind, but maybe this is not the seed, this is not the teeth that broke, it broke the other teeth. And this way he went on breaking all his teeth, and in that state he attained to that state. This is part of Rabita, but you may not call it Rabita. I am giving you a broader perspective, so you can understand broader perspective of master-disciple relationship, master-disciple communion. Rabita is the master-disciple communion, how it flourishes, how it evolves and develops. All that comes within the periphery of Rabita. A sheikh is your wakefulness. Allow him to penetrate. Allow him to penetrate various layers of your being. Cause willingness on your part is important. You have to allow him to enter your innerness. Allow the tawajjuh of the sheikh reach your dark caves as nur, as awakening. Remembering the words of the master and allowing. The moment you remember the words of the master, it penetrates the deeper layer of your being. And when it reaches the deeper layer, the moment the sunlight reaches in those corners of the seed which are hidden under the womb of the earth, something begins to happen. Almost all realized ones emphasize that you cannot be enlightened without a master. Yet still there are others like Jiddu Krishnamurti who says one need no master to attain to enlightenment. Both are correct in their own way. And remember, there is a fallacy that enlightenment is very important. Enlightenment is a realization. In order to do your work or whatever work has been assigned to you, you need no enlightenment. You can continue the work even without all that. So both are correct in their own place, that the presence of the master is important. And Zen concludes this beautifully. It is the master-disciple relationship is like the process of osmosis. Osmosis is the process when two solutions, concentrated and dilute, are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. There is a free movement of the two solutions into one another. And this process continues until the two solutions become of the same consistency. You take water in a cup, and then you pour honey into it, or thick honey is a concentrated solution of sweetness. As you pour into it a very thin stream, it seems a process, and then watch what's happening into the cup. It begins to, the process of the dissolution of the concentration of honey becoming dilute, or as you pour into, you will observe the color of the water is changing. And then when you take the spoon or something and stir it, the honey gives its sweetness to the water. The color of the water changes. This is the process of osmosis. Between the master and disciple, something like this happens. His tawajjuh, the nur, the awakening, his words act as light, because words are energy. And when this energy reaches your course, your whole configuration begins to change. The words of Jiddu Krishnamurti, that no one needs a master to be enlightened, and the other, that without the master you cannot attain to enlightenment. These are the two extreme stages in the process of inner development. Two extreme stages in the process of inner development. To be in the company of the Sheikh, to be in Rabita with the Sheikh, is a unique event. Master implies one who keeps on knocking at your door. This is not aggressiveness. It is like water falling drop by drop on the rock. And when the Master Kaushiki called Hoshin, it was a soft, gentle call. Master cannot be hard and aggressive. The call is water drop, water falling on the rock drop by drop. Understand this. The call of the Master, the light of the Master, the nur, the tawajjuh, the words of the Master are like the water falling drop by drop on the rock. This will break even the hardest rock. The Master will keep on calling so that the rock of mind blocking the enlightenment will break one day. All that was blocking your process of transformation breaks, and the process continues. Lao Tse says, Lao Tse, the Chinese master who coined the term Tao, says master is like water and you are the rock. The Sheikh is like the water and the seeker, the disciple is like the rock. But remember, in the end only you will vanish. The fall of the water drop is not like the knock of a hammer. Water will keep on falling on the rock, will one day break into particles and the rock will become sands. This is what happens. This sand that you see on the beaches, where does it come? It is water is constantly striking the rock. The rock breaks into its small components, into the sand particles. The knock of the Master, the Rabita, the association with the Sheikh is sweet and deep. It is sweet not because it will put you into sleep. It is sweet because it overflows out of the shake through compassion. It overflows as a process of compassion from the shake. On the other hand, all knocks of lust, desire is like hard rock. Lust has no concern with you. Out of lust, you use the other as an instrument or means. It matters not if it is between lovers and beloved, mother and child, husband and wife. In this call, the other is reduced to the means. You remain the end. No wonder. Friends remain restless with one another. Lovers remain worried. The cause of this remains exploitation of the other. The other is reduced to a mere object. If you can make your spouse, your friend, important to you, rather than using him as an object, then something will happen. No wonder friends remain restless, lovers remain worried. The cause of this remains the exploitation of the other. The other is reduced to a mere object. The other is reduced to a mere object. And this is not acceptable. The other feels insulted. The master's call is out of compassion. When Kaushiki called Hoshin, it is out of compassion. The call of the master works like the water drops that is falling constantly on the surface of the rock. And if this is allowed to continue, the process of transformation begins. If the drop to fall on the rock is allowed and it continues, the process of transformation begins. The call of the master and the response of the disciple put together, the call of the master and the response of the disciple together is communion or satsang. The master, it does not matter whether you are sitting together face to face with one another. The master calls Hoshin. Hoshin says, yes, master. Kaushiki calls him again. Hoshin responds, yes, master. When third time he calls, Hoshin says, yes. Process has begun. This is satsang. Nothing is said, nothing is done except the transfer of energy. This is Rabita. You expect that the Sheikh will give you a zikr, a particular shagl, or something else. Nothing. That is not necessary. If the disciple does not listen, if Hoshin did not listen to the voice, to the call of the master Kaushiki, satsang cannot begin. The master is available but disciple is not. So Hoshin says, yes, master. Second time again when he is called, he says, yes, master. Then he says, yes. And the process of transformation continues. The master is available but the disciple is not. If you have heard the master totally, disciple will be no more. If you listen only in fragments, your sleep is disturbed. You open your eyes, halfway you are asleep and you respond and go back to sleep. Your response is there, but again you go back to sleep after that. You indicate this much that you have heard. Satsang has begun. The Rabita, the association has begun. This is the story of satsang or communion or journey of transformation. The master is calling, the disciple is listening, but not understanding fully. That's why he said, yes, master. Second time he again says, yes, master. But in that process, trust grows. The meditation continues, the world continues its effect. The garbage truck is moving to remove the garbage because they have a work to do. We have a work to do to remove the master has a work to remove the inner garbage, and your physical garbage that you place outside by the roadside is the work of the garbage truck to pick up that. The day of the week has begun. People have to go to work. This sound of the car horns are there. But you are in communion. The master is calling, disciple is listening but not understanding fully. Trust has grown. So when the master calls, the disciple responds. At least at the call of the master, he is not getting angry. Had he been in the first place, had you been in place of Hoshin, anger was natural. I want to sleep and he is waking me up. But as the association continues, the call of the master does not appear to be nagging. But if you keep on calling to your son or to your wife, once, twice, third time, you say, why are you calling me all the time? Why are you nagging me again and again? But it is between the disciple and the master, this does not happen that way. At least at the call of the master is not getting angry. Had you been in his place, anger was natural. This is why is this man calling me unnecessarily again and again? Say something or be quiet. You just call me and nothing. It is like a missed call. The master goes on giving the missed call. And when you see 5, 6 missed calls, you call, you had been calling me, yeah, just like that. So why are you nagging me? I was sleeping and you waking me up all the time. If there is something important, tell me, otherwise don't call me. Master makes the missed call to you. And if you get 10 missed calls from one person, and when you call the person, he says, no, just like that I was calling, what you will do? Would you not get angry? Why is this man calling unnecessarily? Say something or keep quiet. Let me sleep. This is not trust. One thing you have to understand, certainly there is doubt in the minds of Hoshin. He tried to show, but he could not escape from the eye of the master. That is why, having called Hoshin 3 times, master called 3 times, and then the master asked for forgiveness. If the disciple had the total trust, then there was no need for the forgiveness. If there was a total trust between the master and the disciple, there was no need to ask for forgiveness. Master called him, Hoshin. He says, yes, master. Just as when a missed call is there, you saw a missed call, you did not get an opportunity to speak. He calls again, Hoshin. He says, yes, master. Then he calls again. He said, yes. Then the master says, master apologizes for calling him 3 times again and again. This is the process, the passive process. Hoshin is honest as he expresses his doubt. To express doubt is courageous. And this is the only way one can grow in trust. You may hide your doubt, but it will always find expression in one way or the other, no matter how much you talk of surrender. It will remain incomplete even if slightest doubt remains, and you will live in delusion. You want me to give you Rabita when you without understanding it? That is not my way. That is not the way of an awakened one. I spoke of this event, this incident between Kaushiki and Hoshin. Again and again I am coming back and showing you, explaining you with another dimension, with another side. When he calls, the disciple responds, but the doubt remains why he is calling me. When you make a missed call to someone, the master tries to see, is it necessary for me to respond to him same time or not? A missed call. If 3 or 4 missed calls you get, just observe how many times you get the missed call from someone, and when the person says, oh no, just like that I was calling, what you will say? You will not say, express your anger depending on the person who it is. You say, I got worried because I saw 3 times missed call from you. So that's why I called to find out what it is going on. And if you call someone else, your wife or husband, why are you making me miss call all the time? Every day you make a miss call. The modern way of communion gives you an opportunity to understand the master-disciple relationship, Rabita, if there is someone who can explain it to you in all its details. Hoshin is at least honest enough, he expresses his doubt. To express doubt is a great courage, and this is the only way one can grow into trust. You may hide your doubt, but it will always find expression in one way or the other. If the blanket that you are using to cover yourself is short, your body will expose from one side or the other. No matter how much you talk of surrender, it will remain incomplete even if the slightest doubt remains, and you will live in delusion. It may have happened, you put your doubt into the basement, and that is what everyone does, and the trust on top. Your doubt will continue to destroy your trust. To exhibit your trust on the surface, much effort will be needed on your part, while your hidden doubt continues to exert its force to surface. Any event and doubt will come to the surface. This is what happens. Every circumstance and situation that comes around you throws you back into the basement. Have you seen 2 wrestlers fighting with one another? One sits on top of the other and uses force to remain on top for a count of 10, while the other wrestler who is underneath uses his force to come onto the top before the count of 10. The one who is sitting on the top has to use his force to remain on top, and the one below need not use any force to remain below. Sooner or later, one who is sitting on the top will get exhausted, and then the one who is below will surface on top. So too, keep your trust on top and doubt remains below. Trust is getting exhausted and doubt is resting. And it does not take long for doubt to surface. Any slightest event and doubt surfaces. But Hoshin is not hiding his doubt. He does not get angry or say, why are you calling me unnecessarily? It is early morning, the breeze is cool, I want to take a nap a little longer, but you are disturbing. When you do not allow he is not hiding his doubts, and if the doubt you are hiding, you will get angry. He is not getting angry or saying anything, why are you calling me unnecessarily? Only in that state transformation is possible. Only in that state the Rabita with the shake is beneficial to you. Or you can do like Tertullian, a Christian mystic. He used to pray every day, and his prayer had one sentence included: I have trust in you. I have trust in you, but you will have to take care of the doubt that is brewing in me. It happened with my late grandfather. He was having communion session with a particular person. That used to happen with us when we were growing. We saw the sheikh is sitting with someone. So we come like an intruder and sit down. So this man came and sat down there. So after the session was over, so he said, gentlemen, what you were doing between two of us? He remained quiet, didn't say anything. And the master said, but you got something very important today. Remained quiet again. After a few moments he said, Master, I got something very important today. He said, yes, you got something very important. Then take care of it. You pour the responsibility on the master. He used to say in his prayer, I have trust in you. That is what you can do. But what about the doubt that is brewing inside? Who is going to take care of it? So he used to say, I have trust in you, but you have to take care of the doubt that is brewing in me. He was honest. He was not hiding his doubt. He openly accepts his doubt and prays God to take care of the menace of doubt while he maintains the trust. He can maintain the trust, but he cannot do two things. He cannot maintain the trust and not let the doubt come to the surface. So through his prayer, he gives the responsibility of taking care of the doubt that is lurking behind. God, I can maintain my trust for you, but you have to take care of the doubt that is brewing within. I have heard a master who went to meet another master. There he saw much respect and trust among the disciples for the master. First one confessed his disciple do not have so much trust and respect. Do something for this. The second mystic told the first one, he would come to his house for dinner and then he will sort out the matter. So the second mystic reached home. The first one who had asked the question, seeing the respect among the disciples for him, he went back. The second mystic reached his home for the dinner, but his feet were full of mud because of the day was rainy and it was full of mud. The host mystic asked his wife to bring some water so the feet of the guest could be washed. The wife replied for inside. The master, the host, asked his wife to fetch some water so that the feet of the master, the guest, could be washed. The wife replied from inside, the water well is not far away. Take your guest there to wash his feet and maybe give him a bath as well. And by the way, where have you been in the morning when the water was being drawn from the well? The two went to wash the feet. After the dinner, the host asked for the solution from the guest. At this, the guest told him to come for dinner tomorrow to his home. So when the guest came in, it had the rainy day, the place was full of mud. He calls his wife to fetch some water, who may be preparing the meals. So as the message reached the wife, she said, the well is not too far. Take your guest to the well, wash his feet, or maybe give him a bath. And by the way, where have you been when the water was being pulled from the well? So when after the dinner the host asked for the solution, the guest said, tomorrow you come to my house. Next day, the mystic with the problem went to the other master's residence as was arranged. The host asked his wife to bring the pot of water to wash the feet of the guest as he came here for the first time. Listen to the response. The wife used the entire pot and washed the feet. In the first place, the wife responded, take your friend to the well, wash his feet, and maybe give him a bath. And by the way, where were you when the water was being fetched, pulled from the well? The second master, when he asked his wife to bring the water, she, without any hesitation, without any doubt, brought the whole pot of water, and not only brought the water but washed his feet as well. After the dinner was over, the host asked the mystic if he got the solution. The guest responded in affirmation. Trust is the shadow of love. Trust is the shadow of love. Where love is, acceptance is, trust follows. Have you noticed when you are in love, you call your beloved again and again. Each time she responds in affirmation with loving gestures. This does not mean wife's mind does not have thoughts arising. Mind's nature is to arise thoughts. She would have certainly thought that ghee is expensive. Ghee is expensive. Feet can be washed with water. Many such thoughts would have been arising because the second master asked him to bring the pot of ghee to wash the feet of the guest as he has come for the first time. The wife could have thought ghee is an expensive ingredient. Why ghee? Why not water? There was no doubt in her mind. Many thoughts, such thought would have been arising, but in spite of all these thoughts, love for her husband came to the surface. Love never doubts. If he says, some reason must be there. So too, when the master calls, thoughts stir in your mind. But a disciple knows when a master calls, there must be a reason behind it. The disciple may not know today, but one day definitely he will know. Everything will reveal itself to him. Certainly there is doubt in his mind. Mind always doubts. It is natural. But if doubt is within, you do not hide. Try to understand the nature of doubt. Do not allow doubt to activate. Do not allow trust to suppress the doubt. Do not allow the trust to suppress doubt. If doubt is within, wait. Time will come when doubt will vanish on its own, but you follow the trust. Disciple means he has grown fully in trust. One who has grown fully in the trust is master. Now this partial trust can be used in two ways. One, you can ride the doubt. This will even cripple your trust because you get bound by what you suppress. Inner conflict between your trust and doubt will arise. Your energy will dissipate. When your left hand and the right hand fight, naturally your energy is wasted. Activate your trust without hiding the doubt, but wait for the right moment. Do not focus on doubt, instead focus on your entire energy of trust. When Hoshin responded to the Master in affirmation, the response arose out of deep trust. Doubt is staring, but his response shatters the doubt at that moment. In the beginning, things happen like this. Master will create many such situations. Without any situation, your dhyan will not flow towards the trust. Master will hit you many times. He will behave many times indifferent, beyond your expectation and understanding. Master will not fulfill your expectations. If anyone does so, know him as counterfeit. Master's role is to transform you, not to fulfill your desires. Only this much for this morning until we meet again. Take care and do have a pleasant day.